Good morning, world.
Good morning, world.
Wow, it feels like I haven't been here in a while.
Because you haven't.
I know. I'm back, and when I got back, Cedric, I got this comment, and it says, "You have to see REN new song, Suicide." And then after that, he says, oh, and this is, I forgot to point his name. His name is @BigS_the_Collector. Thank you, Big S the Collector.
Big S.
And then he said, "Have your sunglasses ready, my friend." So I've got them right here, even though a lot of you hate that.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, REN, Suicide, stay tuned. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian. Okay, Cedric, I know people don't like when I wear the sunglasses, but I thought with the name Suicide in the thing, it's not going to be a happy song.
You have these.
Yeah, those were
You can just lose the sunglasses. You don't need the sunglasses.
I didn't like that you had those in your shirts.
People want to see you. People want to see you cry.
We'll see.
I may cry.
We'll see.
Yeah, Suicide. I mean, the title kind of.
Yeah,
I don't want to be. I don't want to assume what the song is about, but I don't think it's going to be a happy song.
All right, so we're going to hit that in a sec. First, we've got to do our due diligence here, and that is, if you could please give us a tip. We're doing REN. REN likes to do busking, and when you busk, you have a tip jar. Well, this is our tip jar right here. It's either the Cash App or the Venmo.
Yep.
You know, you don't have to. We don't charge you to watch us, of course.
Computer tip jar.
Yep, that's our computer tip jar. It's easy. It's modern day.
Yep.
All right. So one of you complained that it took us a long time to get to the song. So we're going to get right to it. So headphones on.
Yeah, in the future, just fast forward to the part when we put the headphones on and
Holy cow.
you'll know.
My headphones aren't attached here. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You can tell it's been a long time. He's not prepared.
This is live.
Are you prepared?
We used to do that.
We sell My Patriot Supply. We don't do the commercial anymore, but it is in the link below if you want to click on that.
All right. Testing. Okay, I can hear myself. All right. We do pause. We're not going to watch it completely through and then talk about it because we want you to go watch REN's video.
If you don't like our version, there's 1,000 other content creators who do it that way.
All right, here we go.
Through the cracks of the night sky, a light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Oh, treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide.
Okay, so they're hitting you with kind of a chorus right at the beginning. The train tracks, to me, that's a reference to people where we live. We have metros and trains, and that's one of the ways people commit suicide here. Yeah. Maybe in the UK also. Right. This is very different. A lot of REN stuff we do is just him live, one take, and this is a fully produced video. So
I'm so fucking lonely beneath this. Narcissistic, can't keep a secret. Miscount sheep, I can't sleep, a misfit. Some say trouble, but some say sadistic. Bruises my brother, one time or the other. My skin felt counterfeit, silicone rubber. Bruises my sister, skin pop the blister. Dig deep, resist the feeling when it hits you. Falling through the cracks of the night sky. A light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Sick boy, bitten by a tech boy. I feel like it's not me, it's the world that's sick. I'm so fucking washed up and seasick. Masochistic kid with a split lip. 6 feet.
So I just want to stop that. He mentioned sadistic earlier, and then he mentions masochistic. The two sides. REN does a lot of two sides of the coin.
Yes, double meaning.
Interesting animation here.
Yeah. I feel like it's not me, it's the world that's sick. I'm I'm so fucking washed up and seasick. Masochistic kid with a split lip. 6 feet deep, I can't eat, I'm nervous. Won't stay down cause my body purges. Useless my mother, can't keep in my supper. Skin so pale cause my cheeks leak colour. Truth is my father, you choose your karma. Draw for the...
Sorry, I know I'm stopping it. Useless my mother, but then he talks about truth his father.
Truth is my father.
Huh. Let me go back.
Kid with a split lip, 6 feet deep, I can't eat, I'm nervous. Won't stay down cause my body purges. Useless my mother, can't keep in my supper. Skin so pale cause my cheeks leak colour. Truth is my father, you choose your karma. Draw for the sword, then drive through the armour. Oh, I, falling through the cracks of the night sky. A light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Oh, I, treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide.
It's hard to take off from the ground when your wings are cut. Your stomach burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch. I guess there's some that's born lucky, there's some that's not. I tried to cut away my bitterness, hatchet job. I locked my youth inside a trunk, inside a pickup truck, then dumped the whole thing over that same bridge the night you jumped.
So we're going back to Joe Hughes.
Talking about Joe.
Yeah, Franco Angels, if you watch that one. So he says some really kind of esoteric stuff. What is it? The Fibonacci sequence. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yes.
It's 1, 1, 2, 3.
Like a binary.
Yeah. What happens is you add the first two numbers, and then you keep adding, and it goes up. And what it is in photography, it's this like shell.
Right.
It's the shell thing, the sequence. So things get from small to big.
Oh, okay.
And we use that in photography for lining up our shots. Interesting. And then he talked double Dutch, but he's using double Dutch as gibberish. We think about double Dutch, the
jump rope.
Jump rope, but double Dutch also means like gibberish, things you can't understand.
Okay.
Interesting. Sorry, I'm gonna go back just because I know I stopped it at a weird spot. But
It's hard to take off from the ground when your wings are cut. Your stomach burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch. I guess there's some that's born lucky, there's some that's not. I tried to cut away my bitterness, hatchet job. I locked my youth inside a trunk, inside a pickup truck, then dumped the whole thing over that same bridge the night you jumped. I think about that sometimes, vividly. What it felt like to look down and see tranquility. One sudden movement in a world of possibility. Only one movement to expose our fragility. I fucking miss you, and I miss myself. I miss thinking we were indestructible as well. I miss chilling by the pier cave and kicking back with Callum, Hugo, Sega, Justin, Stevie and the fucking lads. I miss missing that. I numb myself to close the gap. I never even call them up. The distance is my plaster cast. The truth is that the day you jumped, my childhood jumped too. But I still can't find that anger. All I find is missing you, man, I miss you. With all my rhymes, I picture running 5 minutes quicker, I'm right on time. I picture pulling you back over the edge and then we're crying, and holding you, my brother, and telling you that it's fine. Not the way that it worked, cause I was late like a jerk. There's not a day where I could find a way to break from the hurt. Your body missing, so we never got to wave to the hearse. I hope you're listening, I love you, man, I miss you absurd. Fuck.
lot to unpack on that.
That was definitely sunglasses worthy.
Wow. And this happens a lot. I had a friend who committed suicide, and you always wonder if there's something you could have done. It sounds like he thought if he was just there earlier.
Right.
But some of the visual imagery does, I locked it inside the trunk, inside this, and then tossed the whole thing in the water. But then he talks about just making that move. It's so tranquil. It's all you have to do is make that one move to end it all. I remember in college, the existential type stuff that, you talk about then. And it's just like, don't stand on the edge of a cliff because you just might jump in. Well, I don't know. What did you think? Sorry.
No, that's more in your wheelhouse, but that you run with this a little bit more. I like in the beginning you said that he miscounts the sheep.
I did catch that.
How the sheep are jumping over, and I say this is my religious aspect. I don't count the sheep, count the shepherd, and I always say that. And you touched on that, truth being his father. It's like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I can go to truth because truth is my father, the one I run to when I need help and I need security.
But he countered that with the mother thing. So I don't know if, like, a lot of, was it the guy who did the song 68, and we found out that he went to his father because his mother was abusive and all that. And then NF wasn't also the same thing?
I think so.
So a lot of these artists, interesting, they don't have mothers that are good.
Right. Yeah.
Real interesting, but they do have fathers apparently. Yeah.
And something I forgot, I couldn't write it down fast enough. He was trying to cut something loose, and it was a hatchet job, but he just completely...
Yeah, he's trying to cut the hurt out of it.
The hurt out, but you just butcher yourself trying to cut it loose.
Yeah. And that happened, remember, in our day, people that were cutters.
And the last thing that I really loved, like Brian said, he'll probably put the number up for those of you who are dealing with certain things, the suicide hotline. But especially with a lot of people, if you're feeling that way, find a group of people. And I love how you ran down, I assume that was a list of the homies he used to hang out with.
Yeah, but then he says he doesn't even call them because that's his cast. It's too painful to talk to that group of friends because they remind him back of Joe. Yeah. And that's very common also. You stay away from the things that hurt you.
But they tell firemen and policemen and people who come back from war, they make them talk about it. They make them interact with it because you have to process that and you have to get through it. I think that would be a good idea for Ren to get around those guys.
This is his processing now.
Yeah.
His music is his processing. When I went through depression, I used to think in my head, give myself some physical pain so I don't have to deal with this emotional pain. And I know, luckily I never got to that point. What I did is I would work out to the point of sheer exhaustion, and that was kind of my way to deal with it. Is just, I figured I'm not going to, sitting in my room was making me feel worse. Right. Sometimes even writing music made me feel worse because then I just was obsessing about the depression. Right. So I would just go work out and work out and work out and work out. And for me, that helped because I think, for one, it creates natural dopamine. And everybody's different. We know, I've seen pictures of Ren. He does work out, so I don't know if he works out because that helps him with the pain also. But at least it's constructive and not cutting yourself and being destructive. But yeah, it's hard when we're just reacting to something, because I'd love to just like spend an hour tearing it apart, but I know that we can't do that. We'll have conversations with you because I know you'll comment on stuff and know that we just can't catch everything. And some of you might have watched this a bunch of times, so you catch things. We'll catch it later, and you guys will help us catch it, I'm sure.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to say, I don't know if it would have helped Ren with any closure, the part where he says, and I'm assuming because we heard from other people in the comment section that Joe's body was never found, so he never got to say goodbye to the hearse. Oh,
that's right, to the hearse.
It would have had some closure if we could just say goodbye, but we never got a chance to do that.
That's true because, and parents that have missing children, and finally they find the body, and then they can then mourn. Yeah. But before, it's just torture. Yeah. So with Ren, they just have to assume he died, which he probably did. But since there was no body, it's just that it's always that thing in the back of your mind. It's terrible.
Yeah. Yes.
Terrible.
Did you want to say something about the number? Did you put it up in the beginning of the video?
No, I'll have it up the whole time. I'll flash it on here. I think they have something from probably from the UK, and then I'll have here in the States. So, I come right back from my vacation, and we get hit with this heavy song. Yes. It's important, I'm sure, because in this country, I don't know how it is in the UK, but in this country, suicide ideation is at an all-time high with younger people especially, and we've got to figure it out. We've got to figure out what's going on. I think we have watch our non-music reviews. We'll give you our opinions on that, but this one we'll just kind of let it go as another beautiful song. Kind of another beautiful tribute to his friend Joe Hughes,
Yes.
and God, good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you for requesting it. I know there was a number
lot
of you.
people, yeah. And I didn't say in the beginning to like, ring, and subscribe. So I'll say it now. Like, ring, subscribe, and share our channel with everyone you know. And if you have someone out there, if you're that someone, reach out. Don't do this alone. One of the best things you can do is get in a community of people who love you and lock arms with you and put their arms around you. Yeah. All right, you guys.
Woo!
Hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you. Let's end up. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. We'll see you later.